Everybody, welcome back. The long-awaited moment has finally arrived. It's time to upgrade our 8 kilowatt system to 12 kilowatts. Stick around to the end. I'll take you through exactly what it's cost us. I think some of you might be surprised. First thing I have to do is add some wood down the bottom here for the new circuit breakers I've bought to isolate the batteries with. I won't bore you with that. I'll come back to you once the wood's in place and we're ready to start mounting the circuit breakers. Okay, well that battery and inverter hasn't self-combusted while I've been away, so that's a good sign. I'm going to be mounting 2 bus bars in the middle, and then I'll have the circuit breakers on either side of the bus bar. Okay, it's a short while later. I've got the bus bars mounted as well as the 2 DC isolators for the batteries. The plan is to eventually have 4 16.2 kilowatt hour batteries, giving a total of 64 kilowatt hours. If that doesn't see us through the cold days in winter, I don't know what will. Now, I've been scratching my head to figure out how best to route the cables to avoid crossing the positive and negative if possible. I think I've come up with a solution. I'm going to see if it works. So the next step is to start making up cables to length and getting them crimped, heat shrinked, and put in place. I've come prepared. The only tool I can't find is my heat gun. I have no idea where it is, so a lighter is going to have to hopefully do the trick. Very important tool is a hydraulic crimper, because without it you can't make up your own battery cables. A little trick I learned, not sure where, probably here on YouTube, was when you're making up cables, the last thing you want to have happen is the cable strands sort of fray out and then you can't get them into the lug. Okay, so first you measure how much you want to cut off. So you make a cut along there. Then what you want to do is you want to make another cut a couple of millimeters away from the first cut and separate it from the big piece that's on the end. Once you've done that, you can peel this big piece off. So that's what it looks like. So you've got a thin little piece over there. Then you pull the big piece off and you roll the thin little piece towards the end, which keeps the strands together. Then you can just pop that in. Oh, I missed one. And then you cut the thin piece and pull it off. And then you can push it on like that. See that one little strand I missed? Oh well, nobody's perfect. Okay, so I've made up 2 cable ends, crimped the lugs on and put heat shrink on them. I'm now going to just start measuring. Holy shit, that's a 14. Take 2 with a right size spanner. So I'm going to put it in position where I want it to go. Like that. So I'm going to want it to come up like that and then into here. So I reckon that would be a good place to cut it. I've shown you how to make up the cables using the crimping tool and the heat shrink. I'm not going to bore you with me making up cables. I'll come back to you when they're all done and ready to fit. I think I've got it figured out. Should be alright, I'm hoping. So I already connected these 2 cables up to the 1 circuit breaker. I'm going to now do the second one. I'm trying to get all of the work I can do without switching off the current inverters before I switch everything off. I was going to try and switch this over by keeping 1 inverter running so we constantly had power, but I figured the slating I was going to take in comments just wasn't worth the hassle, so I'm going to be switching off completely before I do the upgrade. That poses another problem. The mother without internet for a day is going to be unmanageable, so I'm going to have to make a plan. Now I've heard that you need to keep the battery cables the same length, otherwise some batteries get a bit more charge than others. How true that is I don't know, but I'll do that anyway. So I'm just heat shrinking the last of the cables, then I can go fit them, and then the next job will be to get all the panels up onto the roof. I don't want to disconnect anything until I've got everything in place so I can minimize the downtime of the inverters. I really wish I knew where my heat gun was. It's in this pigsty of a garage somewhere. One day. The last step for tonight is to get the battery cables on, and then I'm going to call it a night and head in and drink some more wine and go to bed. I've just come off 2 53-hour weeks, so I'm a little bit knackered. I'm not as young as I used to be, and I also did about just shy of 1,000 miles each week. My last check that everything's tight. There we go, that's done. One more to go. And then when I disconnect the inverters and shut everything down, I'll cut some slots in this channeling here for the positives and negatives to come in from the inverters. So currently I've got 9 strings of panels feeding these 2 inverters, as you can see by all the cabling in here. I'm going to be going down to 2 strings per inverter, so from 9 to 4. I'll cut this cable to length, route it in, etc. I've got enough length on all of the cables coming from the inverters to get to the bus bars. I can cut them shorter, put new ends on, and we're golden. Okay, so that's where we are for tonight. Battery cables in place, breakers in place, bus bars in place. Tomorrow's job, get those panels on the roof. Night, everybody. Morning. It's the next day. Been putting this job off for a while. I'm not looking forward to dragging them up onto the roof. Should be interesting. They're a lot bigger and a lot heavier than the other panels were. So those need to go up there. 20 of them. It's going to break me. No, put it down your side. I'll lift it up. Come towards me. Come towards me.
Yeah, okay.
Lift it up and come towards me. Okay, put it down. There you go.
Am I in the middle of the ladder?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So I can let it go?
Yes, just put it on the, lean it against the ladder. Lean it, there you go.
Okay.
I need my gloves. Throw my gloves up to me. Shit.
Which ones?
The ones on top of the... It's going to wreck my hands. 1. You throw like a girl. Like I said.
Oh, you are useless.
For fuck's sake, man.
Oh. Hang 5, let me climb the ladder.
No, don't worry. Yesterday. It's heavy. Climb the ladder.
No.
I can't do it on my own.
I know. That's why you need Wonder Woman.
Hold on a second, just hold it. Okay.
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 Okay, hang 5, let me get up there to help you. Don't let it fall.
Whew. Okay, so it's doable, but it's not going to be easy.
And I'm just going to pretend I'm not scared of heights. Take it down there, in the shade. You know, I'm doing most of the work from the lifting part.
Yeah.
You're just really holding it in the middle.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, ready?
You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I thought you were doing most of the work.
Not funny. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hold.
A little bit.
1, 2. Okay.
Hold on.
Say when.
I'm not ready, just wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hold it.
Yeah, tell me when you got it.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
You there?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah. So by the time we got to the last one, Mandy had overcome her fear of heights, and we seemed to have picked up a nice rhythm and were able to get the last one up without any mishap. The right wing?
Far right.
You mean right so far?
Yeah.
Okay, I've lost the hook. Okay, so we got the 20 panels up on the roof. Next step, I need to identify which cables go to which strings and then start pulling the cables out I'm not going to use. So the panels are on the roof. I now need to figure out which circuit breakers relate to which string on the roof. As I said, I'm only going to have 4 strings, so I want to pull back all the other strings of cable that I'm not using so that I can use it when I do the 8 kilowatt install for the pump, etc. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take the covers off. I'm going to switch all of the switches off, and then I'm going to go up on the roof and I'm going to disconnect one string at a time, measure with a multimeter to see which is the dead string, so then I can mark it up as which string it is. Those 2 are for the panels that are on the back of the garage, which I'm not touching now. So, right, up on the roof. So it's not even 3 o'clock yet, and you can see the shading that's coming in here from the garage parapet wall. So I think I can get 3 in here. I don't know if I will. Otherwise it's 2 up here and 2 up here. Now I'd like to use this cable and that cable, but as you can see there's 4 PV cables going in, so I want to pull 2 of them back. So I'm just going to disconnect that plug and then go downstairs and see which one's not producing power. So now that I've disconnected the one string on the roof, I need to take these covers off so I can then get the multimeter and put it across each of the strings to see which one's not generating anything. Then I can mark that as that string, which is one I want to keep. Now I've got to be careful here because these are still live even though they're switched off, because that's coming in from the panel side down the bottom here. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It must be that one. Yep. So I've disconnected the second string that I want to use. I'm hoping it's this one here. No. This one here. No. Must be this one. There we go. I've identified the 4 strings that I need. Now what I need to do is go up on the roof again and disconnect all of the connectors so there's no power coming in from the solar panels. Then I need to disconnect the strings I'm not using, pull the cables back so I can pull them up and out through all the conduiting so I can reuse them later. Back on the roof. So all the strings are disconnected, so there should be no chance of me getting zapped. They're all disconnected now. Okay, so all the panels are disconnected on the roof. I'm just going to do one last double check to make sure that there's no power coming through. I mean, it is quite, the panels are shaded at the moment, so it shouldn't be an issue. we're safe. So now I need to disconnect the cables that I'm not going to be using, so I can then pull them through up onto the roof and out of the trunking. It's going to be fun. Right, now I need to untangle all the cables. Now obviously it's still live because I haven't switched the inverters off, but we should be fine. Just work carefully. There aren't any exposed cables here anyway. So now I'm going to climb on the roof. Not that roof, on this roof over here. So I've got 9 pairs of cables running up to connect to 9 strings of panels. I only need 4 pairs of cable coming up to connect to 4 strings. So I'm pulling out 10 pieces of cable. So I'm going to have to open up those junction boxes there so that I can figure out which cables I need to pull out. Okay, so I've got all the covers off. I know the 4 cables coming from this conduit are not needed, so I'll pull them through first if I can get them handy there. There we go. I remember this was a pain. Two. So before I start taking this all apart, I need to mark which are input and which are output on the AC side. I think they're different on the new inverters. I screwed up. I pulled the wrong set of cables out. The other ones were longer. I'm going to have to put a join on this one. Damn it. Oh well. Okay, I've been up on the roof. I've disconnected all the panels and tidied the old ones out of the way. It's now time to shut everything down, remove the inverters and replace them with the new ones. Kill the mains. There you go. How the hell do we switch these off? I can't remember now. There you go. There you go. Wait for them to shut down. Nothing coming in. And then pull the main circuit breaker for the batteries. There we go. We are safe. Alright, I want to mark the cables that's going line in because they opposite. Line in's the bottom, line out's the top on the new inverters. So make mark on line in. Before I use these inverters again, I'm going to give them a good clean, take them apart, get all of the dust out. Now I'm just going to mark the left cable on each of them for the parallel kit. I just know you're going to have to come on the roof with me.
Oh, come on, Batman, just get over there. I've got shit to do.
So fucking rude.
I know. It's going to take long.
Yeah, it's taking as long as it takes. Okay, stand back. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, got it. Oh! When the alarm senses that it hasn't got power for X amount of time, it goes off. Ears are still ringing. One down, one to go. I'm just taking this cover off so I can get to the battery connectors. Get them disconnected, ready to put on down there. This one's always a bitch to get out, I don't know why. There we go. There we go, done. Before removing that, I think I need to disconnect from the batteries down here actually. We don't want these shorting. Positive and negative of this battery bank. That would be rather calamitous. Okay, let's see if I can get the second inverter down without Mandy's help. She's busy picking olives. If I drop it, I'll blame her. She gets the blame for everything. No, I'm not going to do this without her. It's not worth it. You can just hold that.
Undone there.
I've undone everything. I got Mandy's help.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to blame her for dropping. Oh, I got it. Thank you. You can go now. Okay. You go. Okay, you can let go.
Alright, you done with me.
I've got another one to put up. Just connect in the parallel cables. And make sure that these battery terminals are tight. Right. Next, PV input. Blue is negative, brown is positive. Okay, those are done. Okay, I'm not going to get two cables in there, so I'm going to have to try and put one of these on the end. I think that'll work. There we go. That was lucky. Okay, we got it in. After this, it was just a case of rewiring everything back into the new inverters. Luckily, the configuration was almost identical, apart from the line in and line out feeds, which caused me a little bit of an issue on the second one, but I managed to get it working without having to replace the cables. One down. Okay, so I've cut the positive and negative cables from the inverters. Got to mount those onto the bus bars. I don't know if you can see them there. There we go. So I'm going to put lugs on, heat shrink onto the bus bars. Okay, I just want to move the strings into the right circuit breakers because I'm doing away with this box over here. I'm going to move it. So when I originally put these inverters in, I didn't think to order red and black cable. I just ordered black PV cable like an idiot. So a bit of red tape so we know which is positive and which is negative. I'm not going to disconnect these ones yet because they're still live, because I can't get to the plugs and the strings on the back of the wall. So these will get pulled out, these four, tonight, so I can move this box to here. Well, that's a relief. It's a tight fit, but I managed to make those cables work, thank goodness. I'm blind and it's dark, so this is going to be difficult. I've got a plan. I'll be back. I've got a cunning plan. So my cunning plan was to go and fetch the YouTube light, as we call it, and plug it into a battery pack, because at this stage we've got no power and it's starting to get dark. I've got the bus bars mounted and wired up. I've got the one battery connected. I've put that cover back on. I just got to put that cover on, and then we're going to fire it up and see if I burn the place down. Yep. So BMS control cable. I'm going to make it up better now that I know how to wire it. I'll make a new one. Stand back, people. No fire yet. There we go. Lights flashing, it means it's communicating with the battery. That's good news. And we have power. Hey! Okay, I'm now going to switch the power breaker on for the other inverter, see what happens. Fault. Okay, we've got power back on. I've only got one inverter running at the moment. It throws a fault when I switch the second one on, so I've got to do some checking on the parallel operation. But at least there's power, I can see what I'm doing. I might have to switch off again later, but I think the mother wants to cook her dinner, so I'll let her get on with that for now. Morning. Next day, we ran through the night on one inverter and the two battery banks. Got a bit of an issue getting these inverters to go into parallel mode. I think I've figured it out. You can only change the setting for parallel when they're in standby mode. And because we're not on grid, we've got no feed coming into the line in. So I'll fire up the Jenny just now, plug it into the input of the inverters and see if that allows me to change it to parallel mode. We've just down from the roof where we connected the last two strings. I had to make up an extension cable for each of them. So we've got 4 strings giving us a total of 12 kilowatts. I'm going to just switch the string on, the second string on the inverter that we're running with. At the moment, on one string, we're generating 1,002 watts. I expect that to double. You can hear the inverters reacting. I don't know if you can see that. 1880 watts. We ran the batteries down to 21% last night. Mandy was freaking her frock. It's going to take her a while to get used to the fact that we can run the batteries down to 20% rather than 40% on the lead acid. Next trick, sort out parallel function so I can run both inverters so we can pump 12 kilowatts into the batteries in peak sun. I'm going to plug the Jenny in to the mains input on the inverter and see if it goes into a standby mode, if it allows me to set for parallel operation. It's going to get noisy. There we go. Done. Okay, now we need to do the other one. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to shut down. Better go and let the women know before they freak out. Okay, I've set both inverters to parallel mode. I'm just firing this one up to see if it's taken. Parallel mode, good. Okay, it's Wednesday night. After a few issues, managed to get it all hooked up, talking to each other, doing what it needs to do. So we've been running at full capacity since yesterday late afternoon. I'll take you through the issue that I had and explain it as best I can. Okay, so the master inverter has got the BMS cable plugged into it, which then plugs into the master set plus battery. The slave inverter, however, has no BMS cable set in it, so it would run for 5 minutes and then come up with a failure code of 61. Thanks to the excellent customer support I received from Emma at MPP Solar, she was very quick to respond to any queries I had and always provided me with pertinent, useful information. As a result, we managed to sort it out. Master inverter you set up as Pylon Tech, and the slave inverter you set up as user. That then sorts out the issue of it failing with a communication with BMS fault. So up and running, it's now time to tidy up the mess I've made. It's quite extensive. But to be fair, this garage is never really spotless. I need to tidy up these cables, get the covers on the bus bars, move the lead acids out the way, put all the covers on, These two circuit breakers are for the 2 kilowatts of panels on the back of the garage wall that are controlled by that 2 kilowatt charge controller. I do need to extend the charge leads to come down to the bus bars. These are them over here when I had the battery breaker over here, so I need longer cables. Next thing I've got to do is I've got to break these battery packs apart so I can move them out the way and store them till I use them again. In the future, I'll have another video that comes out of me moving the 8 kilowatt system to a new position to feed the borehole pump, the pool and the spa. That way we shouldn't ever run out of power. I'll take them outside and give them a good clean. The pressure washer, get them nice and clean before I use them again. Oh, those are tight. Okay. I'll get a speed gun and do it with that rather. What I've also done is I've extended the charge cables from that MPPT and charge controller, and I'll tap these, the red and black, into the bus bars. So I've been busy off camera just tidying up, getting the old batteries out of the way so I could put the lithiums up against the wall, tidying up the cables, just getting ready to put all the covers back on the trunking. I'll show you what I've been up to. So the old lead acid batteries have been moved out the way, just stacked over there for now. I'll store them on top of some wood around the corner behind the bike until I'm ready to use them again. There the two batteries are up against the wall. Last thing to do is I need to just crimp these ends. This is for the auxiliary MPPT charge controller. Shut down, hook those up, put the covers back on. So I just need to crimp these lugs on these two cables, switch everything off tomorrow, and then tap these cables in to the system, and I can then be charging the batteries using the panels on the back of the garage wall that are sitting vertically. I'm just going to push this piece of trunking on and then we can talk about what this all cost. Now I'll take you through what we had prior to the upgrade. I'll put a link to the video that we did, I think it's up here, where I broke down the cost of what the 8 kilowatt system cost with 25 kilowatt hours of lead acid. Bear in mind that I'm reusing the majority of the breakers, cabling, etc. that I had already previously installed, so there was no real cost associated with that. The cables for the batteries, I already had the cable. I bought some new lugs because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to find the ones that I had. Luckily I found the ones that I had, and I made up all those cables, so there was no cost involved there. The cost I'm going to be talking about is the cost of the inverters, 2 of them, the cost of the batteries, and the cost of the solar panels. Okay, so the cost of the 2 inverters shipped to Italy was $1,403.30. The cost of the batteries came in at just under $4,000, and that was shipped to Italy. And the solar panels I bought locally from Leroy Merlin at 119 euros each. And I got 5% discount, so I paid for 19 and got one free. And the total of that was 2,261 euros. On top of that, I've got the cost of the bus bars. The 2 bus bars cost me £29.99, and the 2 DC isolators for the batteries cost me £29 each, so a total of £58. I'll put a spreadsheet up and convert everything into dollars because I know the majority of you people watching are from the USA. And congratulations on your new president. Now, I can't complain about that price, to be honest with you. For less than $8,000, I've got 12 kilowatt of power, 11,600 watts of solar panels, and 32.4 kilowatt hours of battery. I am going to be ordering another battery. I was going to order 2, but another 2 won't fit in here as well as I would like. And I think 48 kilowatt hours of storage, lithium iron phosphate, should be more than enough. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching us getting this all upgraded and sharing with you how we did it and the stumbling blocks we hit. Hopefully you learned something, if not anything, how not to do something. Thanks for watching. Ciao.